Hey folks, Dave the Not So Evil Viking 13 here, and today I'm going to show you guys some plans for one of the upcoming settlement builds that I have in Fallout 4 for a secret underground Minutemen communications bunker. Before we dive in and I show you guys what I've got for the bunker so far, let's take just a minute and give a shout out to the sponsor for this video, the Amino app. Amino describes their app as your interest times infinity. And what you guys will find if you download the app via the links provided in the description for both iOS and Android is essentially a hub for all the things that you enjoy. Now, of course, I have some content up on the Fallout Amino community, but I've also subscribed to the Witcher Amino community, as well as the Song of Ice and Fire / Game of Thrones Amino community. You can access your favorite interest all from one central Amino app now, so this lets you join as many communities as you want to. And I have done so over at the new Amino community for Evil Viking 13. You guys can also find a link to that in the description. So you can give me feedback not just through YouTube comments, which can get kind of crowded, but right there in the Amino app in my own personal community. Now let's dive back into the Commonwealth and take a look at my plans for this secret bunker and how I'm going to surprise Joel with it. It was a lot of fun to create the Pleasure Island build out on Spectacle Island that was based all around Joel's pretty creepy and caps grubbing character. That was a nice surprise to do that tour where he was just totally not expecting it, and I've been scheming a bit for a different kind of surprise. I'm going to try to pull the wool over Joel's eyes because he's not really into the settlement building, and he's not super familiar with all the settlements that are out there that you can actually build at. So, I'm going to try and fake him out a bit here with a build at 10 Pines Bluff. And I want to bring you guys along for the build and get some feedback as I plan this bit of an ambush. And if you guys are familiar with 10 Pines Bluff, you will already recognize that a few things are wrong here. First of all, this cliffside is not supposed to actually exist. The bluff is kind of just this rock face down there. This actually used to be a farm. My goal here is to create a secret underground settlement, but start the tour out by convincing Joel that it's just a small ranger cabin up here in the mountains. I want to do like a 3 or 4 minute tour, super fast, of the outside areas and convince him that this is all there is to see. I'm gonna run around the side here so you guys can see what else I've added. You guys might remember this old destroyed house here at the farm, and as you guys can see, the rock face now comes right up to it, and I'll show you all why here in a second. But just a quick glance. Oh, my shadows are freaking out there. Here's what the inside of the shack looks like. It's pretty run down, pretty fitting for a ranger outpost, but my goal, like I said, is to just show Joel these couple of outside areas. But what could that pipe lead to? Interesting. And again, because Joel shouldn't be super familiar with this settlement, I'm pretty sure I can convince him that all of this was already here, as far as the cliffs go. So then we'll take a look over here at the ranger cabin. All the detailing is actually almost done here. We'll take a look inside at the decorations. Basically just a Minutemen communications outpost. And then I'll tell him that that's the end of the tour, and that is the settlement, which I doubt he's going to believe at that point. Got this fun shelter right here where I added some pillars to hold up the rocks that I had to clip through to make it work. But whether or not I can convince him that this is the entire build right here, it's at this point that I will reveal this is actually an underground bunker complex. I'll go into workshop mode, move this shelf here in the ranger cabin, and what do we have here? A hidden concrete door, And again, this is all still a work in progress, but I think you guys see where this is going. A vault-style security door. And here we go, guys. This is why that rock face went right up to the edge of the rundown house on the other side. I have built a 2-story vault-style bunker here at 10 Pines Bluff. My settlers aren't a big fan of all the new objects, but I can get them set up before Joel and I actually take the tour. But I wanted to show you guys what I've been planning to get some feedback on how I can decorate this. And here's the second floor up here. Got some cinder block, and it looks like that piece right there is... Yep, it's intersecting with another. I'll have to shift those over. Oh yeah, and if you go outside, you can see right through the underside of the rocks. So this is the area that we have for the second floor, and I'll need to lower some of the pillars and stuff like that. But I really haven't started detailing most of the interior just yet, other than I've got a brick wall here that I think is going to be some kind of mantle. That's not quite lined up. Not a fireplace, but like a living quarters, or no, I guess a common area. I got these cool glass floors that lead up to it. Lots of panels on this side. A pretty good amount of space to build with here in the second floor. Oh, great. I left a hole. Let's just seal that back up. Oh well, I will fix that later. Let's stick to what we have so far. Down here on the first floor, got one of my ventilation systems right here. And my power system, which now that the first Wasteland workshop is out, I can actually replace these things with more efficient and much smaller reactors. Although, as you can see, I was using those to hide some of the glitchy shrubbery. I think, though, if I add a concrete base, I'll just add one like that for now. If I add a concrete base, I can still probably hide most of that bush. Oh, this reactor won't fit. Okay, well, I just won't save then because I've screwed up my own reactor room here, guys. And of course, now we don't have enough power to actually see what's going on in here. Perfect. Let me just hook a few of these up for the lights. Close enough for now. So what I want to hear from you guys is, how can I best sell this to Joel as, oh yeah, it's totally just the Ranger Shack here at 10 Pines Bluff. I mean, it's right there in the name. It's a cliffside settlement, not a lot of building room. But I also want some ideas for what I can build here in the interior. I'm planning to release this build probably sometime in August because I'd like to see what Bethesda is going to release in their Vault Tech Workshop DLC. I know that a lot of the stuff you'll be able to build for the vaults will be only buildable at the Vault Tech building location. At least that's what I've heard. But I'm sure that I'm going to get possibly some kind of maybe vault-style furniture or stuff like that that would be perfect for an underground bunker like this that I would imagine would have actually been some kind of Vault Tech facility before the Minutemen found it hundreds of years after the Great War. This is definitely not a thing that any kind of faction in the Commonwealth could build on their own. Well, maybe the Institute, but they had a lot of help and planning and construction before the war too, so... And you guys remember that pipe outside. Let's go take a look there. What looks like some kind of just drainage pipe is actually one of the air intakes for the vault. And I'll have to add some kind of way to make that darker so you can't see that it just clips right into the rock. But I'd like to add a few things for these outside areas where I'll just kind of brush past them quickly, and then once Joel gets to see the vault itself, I'll come back outside and say, oh, by the way, you should have noticed that something was up. And one of those kind of hints that I've added is in here in the storage shack, where a couple of our Minutemen Rangers are staying. If you go way back into the corner, where it's just some box storage back here, and get way up here, you can kind of have to glitch. I actually should probably move this one right here so you can see better. There we go. Yeah, you'll be able to see that this is the, I guess probably the outtake for the vault, hidden here in this destroyed house. But if you guys can think of any kind of, I don't know, like antennas or air ducts or stuff like that, anything that I could add subtly to the outside that Joel probably would not notice as we walked around the outside, but would be details that once he had seen the interior vault, I could just bring him back outside and be like, oh, you missed all these clues. I think that would be a lot of fun for the final tour. Again, though, that final tour is still a ways off. This settlement has all of its base stuff in place. Getting that interior shell to fit inside of the cliffside was an absolute nightmare, but I think a lot of the hard work is done, and now comes the fun part where we get to tweak things and decorate. And if you guys are interested, I could definitely do a build video for this as well. Let me go into free cam and show you guys how it's looking from the sky. Now from above you can kind of tell, like, wait, something's kind of off here with these rocks. And I might try and add a few more over here to extend the cliffside more naturally, but especially this side with the ranger cabin, I think looks pretty convincing, just like they built it on this little natural outcrop. And thankfully the rooftop blocks most of these smaller rocks that I had to place almost one by one to help fill in the gaps around, let's see, where is it? The door right here. And of course, I'm going to try and keep my use of lights on the inside to a minimum, or possibly use just very dim lights so there won't be any kind of light bleed on the outside. I don't want the rocks shining noticeably as we're taking the tour of the outside. But yeah, guys, go ahead and post your ideas for this secret hidden Minutemen bunker settlement. It was a lot of fun working some of your ideas into the castle and Pleasure Island builds. And I think we can have a lot of fun with this one too. And definitely just take advantage, at least a little bit, of Joel's ignorance of some of these settlement locations where he hasn't spent a whole lot of time. It should be a lot of fun to try and confuse him. Oh yeah, we actually do have the ability to add some cliff sides here. Oh man, these cliffs are huge. That's going to be a tough fit. But I think just one piece could possibly really make this cliffside look legit. For now though, guys, I will leave further construction for an additional build video if you guys are interested. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon on the next video.